By the end of this video, you will understand what are the core principles of cybersecurity, what is confidentiality, what is integrity, and finally, what is availability. In the next few minutes, we are going to learn about one of the most important concepts of cybersecurity. Before we go into cybersecurity, we need to understand what the goals of cybersecurity are. We need to define the core goals of what we are trying to secure. And this is done by a concept called CIA Triad. The CIA Triad includes the holy trinity of cybersecurity. It's confidentiality, integrity, and availability. I would advise you to cement these three words into your brain because nothing in cybersecurity can be achieved without including confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And remember, CIA is not a central intelligence agency, it's confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So let's understand these concepts in depth. And let's start with confidentiality. Confidentiality is a pretty clear concept. It's the fact that only authorized people are allowed to see the information. It's about protecting sensitive data from untrusted people. Confidentiality is all about protecting sensitive information from unauthorized access. Imagine your personal diary. Confidentiality ensures that only you and trusted individuals can read it. Once the confidentiality of something is broken, there is no limit to who can access your data or who can access your systems. So confidentiality is one of the core security goals. To ensure confidentiality, we need to follow encryption and access control. So let's go into encryption. Encryption is like locking up your data in a special safe, and only people with the right key can open the safe and read what is inside it. So basically what encryption does is, it scrambles up proper data into unreadable data so that people, even if someone can see that, they won't understand what is going on. It's like, for example, imagine the message of ABC. Your original data is ABC and you're encrypting it using a key of +1. So if you use the key of +1 on ABC, ABC becomes BCD. So now your message is all scrambled and unreadable. Anyone who peeks into your message won't be able to understand what that message is saying. So that is what encryption does. Encryption ensures that even if someone manages to get their hands on your data, they can't understand it without the key. Put in simpler terms, encryption is the process of converting your readable data into a secret code to keep it safe from prying eyes. So if no one can understand your data, the confidentiality is maintained. So this is one of the first methods of maintaining confidentiality. And encryption has two processes. Encryption can be ensured in two ways. The first process is symmetric encryption. In the example I just explained to you, like ABC, you are securing this using the key of +1. This is called symmetric encryption. Here the secret key is +1. You're taking your plain text ABC, encrypting using this key, and it becomes a ciphertext. And here the ciphertext is PCD. And if someone wants to decrypt it, all they have to do is use -1. The secret key -1. And the plain text is recovered from the ciphertext. This is known as symmetric encryption. Symmetric encryption, also known as secret key encryption, is a type of encryption where the same key is used for both encryption and decryption of the data. So here the sender and the receiver need to know what the secret key is, and only then can the ciphertext be decrypted. The second form of encryption is asymmetric encryption. In this, there are two different keys, and they are a public key and a private key, or also known as secret key. So for example, it's like having a special mailbox where anyone can drop a letter. Dropping the letter, the act of dropping the letter is public key, but only you can open it using a private key. Asymmetric encryption is far more advanced and more secure because even if one key is released, the public key is released to the public and anyone can see it. Nobody will be able to access the secret key except for the receiver. So this is about encryption. If you recall, there's another method of ensuring confidentiality, and that is access control. Access control has three subparts in it: identification, authentication, and authorization. So access control, and this is a pretty good analogy of what access control is. Access control is like having a bouncer at the nightclub. The bouncer checks the identities and only lets people in who are on the guest list. This way, only authorized individuals can enter and everyone else is kept out. Access control is the process of deciding who actually gets to read your data and what is their identity, how are they authenticated, and what authorizations do these people have. So first concept is identity. When I say identity, I mean that anyone who wants to access a data has a unique identity to them. For example, let's consider Alice. Alice is going to log into the company account using her username, and her username is aliceemail@domain.com. So nobody else except Alice is going to have this identity. So whenever she logs in using aliceemail@domain.com, the log will know that it is Alice's identity and only Alice can log in. And the second part is authentication. Authentication is the process of the users proving their identity using a password. For example, Alice knows her password, but no one else would know her password. When she logs onto her account with her username, which is a unique identifier, and a password, a unique authentication factor, she proves her identity with this authentication, with this password. So now we know what an identity is, what authentication is. And the next concept is, what is authorization? Authorization is restricting access to certain resources. For example, in your company, there is Alice and there is Bob. Alice is allowed to read some files and also edit some files or delete some files, whereas Bob, on the other hand, is only allowed to read some files. He's not allowed to edit or delete any files. This concept of giving special permissions to some people and special permissions to other people is known as authorization. Having a proper identification, authorization, and authentication techniques is going to ensure excellent confidentiality in your company or your individual processes. Then the next concept is integrity. In the CIA Triad, if you remember, C is confidentiality, I is integrity, and A is availability. So have you ever played the game telephone? Where the first person whispers a message into the next person, and then the next person has to whisper it to the other one, and so on. And finally, the last person announces the message. Most of the time, the final message is completely different to what the first person actually whispered into the second person's ear. So this concept of maintaining the message same throughout the journey is known as integrity. Integrity ensures that data has not changed. How we have uploaded the data, it has to appear like that on your website, or it has to appear like that when you download it, or if you're sending a message to another person, it has to appear just the way you sent it. Integrity includes ensuring that the data has not been modified, tampered with, or corrupted. And how do we maintain this integrity? We do it by hashing. Hashing is the process of taking simple text and converting it to encrypted text, converting it into a meaningless string of data. Forget I said encrypted text, that is for encryption. One other concept is that encryption and hashing may seem similar at first, because in encryption we are taking plain text using a key, making a ciphertext out of it, and then decrypting it and getting our original message back. So at first glance, encryption and hashing will seem the same to you, because even in hashing, we are taking a plain text, we are using a hash function just like a cipher key, and we are converting it into hashed text. But the difference is, in encryption, we are doing this to maintain confidentiality. By encrypting it, we are making sure that no one else is able to understand our message. But in hashing, we are doing it so that our message, we can verify that our message hasn't been changed. If you can see, notice here, there is no way of retrieving plain text after it goes to the hash function. In encryption and decryption, there are two processes. There is encryption and then there is also decryption. But in a hashing algorithm, there is only hashing. There is no concept of dehashing. You can never retrieve your original data back from a hashed text. That's the most important difference between encryption and hashing. Encryption is a two-way process. You can encrypt something and decrypt something. But hashing is a one-way process. And the point of encrypting something is to maintain confidentiality, and the point of hashing something is to maintain integrity. So when you send a message, suppose I send a message of ABC to you, so the hash value would be 123. If on the way somebody has intercepted my message and edited it into ABCDE, the hash function would also change by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, it won't exactly be like that. I'm just giving an example. So when my receiver, that is you get my message, you're going to apply the hash function onto the message that you received. The message that you received is ABCDE, not actual message which I sent, which is just ABC. So your hash value and the hash value that I sent you are going to be different. And this difference is going to tell you that the message I sent you has been tampered with. That is the point of having hashing algorithm. So you take a plain text, apply a hash function on it, and you get hash text. And this is usually attached with many downloads and emails so that the receiver can understand and have the surety that the message hasn't been tampered with. So that is all about integrity. And these are some of the methods of encryption and hashing. For symmetric encryption, we have AES, which is Advanced Encryption Standard, DES, RCA, Blowfish, SEED, ARIA, GSM, and GPRS. And for asymmetric key cryptography, that is public key and private key cryptography, there is RSA, which is the most widely used encryption standard. There is Diffie-Hellman, Pallier, DSA, El-Gamal, and ECC. And for hashing, we have MD5, MD6 as SHA. SHA has many things like SHA-1, 2, 3, 256 and all. There's Whirlpool, Tiger, and ED2K4. You can pause the video here, note this down, and do a bit of research on them and see how they work. Moving on, let's explore the final part of the CIA Triad, which is availability. At first glance, it may seem very obvious, like how are we going to ensure availability? If something is available, it's available. There's nothing we can do about it. But that's not quite it. Ensuring availability is like ensuring that the data and resources are accessible to authorized users whenever they need them. You need to have a 24/7 availability of your data and resources. Sometimes when you click on a website, you get the message that server not found or data not available or any such things which leads you to go to another website to search for the same data. So this is lack of availability. And this is a huge issue in cybersecurity. Hackers will hack into your system and make your database not available to the users. And the users, seeing that your website is down, are going to go to a different website to avail the same function. Because of this, your website is going to have several $1 million of financial losses. And how do we ensure that availability is there? Like your data is available 24/7. First of all, through uninterrupted power supply. This also may seem obvious at first, but uninterrupted power supply to your servers and databases is the first step in ensuring availability. Second of all, backup. Your servers or data might get viruses or malware, or they may be affected by natural disasters, they may be stolen, they may be broken. Even then, your data has to be available, your services have to be available, and this can be ensured through backup. And third, and most importantly, eliminating SPOF, which is single point of failure. For example, I'm sure you all have Wi-Fi at your home or Wi-Fi in your college or office. So we have a router, and from this router, all our devices are connected. Here, the single point of failure is the router. If the router is down, if it is damaged, all of your devices will get disconnected from the internet. So this is called single point of failure. For availability, to ensure availability, never have a single point of failure. Because if one thing goes down, you can't have your entire service and database going down. And finally, patching. Patching is ensuring that you are updating your softwares regularly. You are updating your operating systems regularly. Yesterday, we had a scenario about how not updating your softwares or operating systems can lead to you being hacked or being vulnerable. So, patching your systems ensures that you can never be hacked and you can remain available to your customers at all times. So in summary, what we've learned in this video is the CIA Triad. And the CIA Triad consists of confidentiality, which ensures that the data is only viewable by authorized users. Encryption is the best choice to provide confidentiality, and access control also protects the confidentiality of data. And again, there are two types of encryption, symmetric and asymmetric. And the next thing we learned was what is integrity. Integrity is providing assurance that data has not been modified or tampered with or corrupted through unauthorized or unintended changes. Data can be a message, a file, or a data within a database. Hashing is how we are going to ensure integrity. And finally, we learned about the importance of availability. Availability ensures that the data and services are available whenever you need them. A common goal is to remove single point of failure, have fault tolerance methods, and redundancies such as backups are commonly added to support high availability. So that's it for this video. We've covered all the fundamentals for cybersecurity. And until the next video, I hope you have a wonderful time.